Hey everybody, my name's Charlie and I am an instructor over here at 360 Defense in Norwich Town. We are right between Ace Hardware and the bowling alley, and I've been teaching in town since 2002. We were over on the west side before, but now we're in that weird green warehouse over on Wawika Street. Um, it's a weird time right now with COVID. I'm filming this in January 2021, and people are understandably a little leery about group activities. We still have classes here. They're very distanced and we have everything marked out where people aren't getting close to each other, and they're working on their own Wave Masters, which are like freestanding heavy bags. But what I wanted to do was put up some free classes on the website so that people like you can maybe start at home and start to understand a little bit about what we do here, so that at some point later in this year, when things clear up and group activities are a little bit more acceptable, when you mix into classes, you'll feel that much more comfortable. So I figured, maybe break down some of these Krav Maga basics for you so that when you come in, it just makes a little bit more sense. So what I want to go over today first is the stance, the position that you will put yourself in if you need to deliver strikes to defend yourself, okay? So I think you would agree with this. If we were going to build a house, we would want to be careful about the type of ground we're going to put that house on, right? So you might have these great blueprints for your dream house, but if you build it on a swamp, it's going to sink. So let's find some nice ground, level, flat ground to build our house on. And that's what our stance is. If your stance isn't there, your ability to defend yourself will not be there. It'll be greatly hindered. So let's work on this first, okay? So first things first, we're going to start from a neutral position, so just a typical average standing position. And I want you to take your non-dominant leg and step forward, okay? I'm a righty, so I'm going to step with my left. And it's just going to be an average step, like if I were walking, just an average step. Then I'm going to bend my knees. When I bend my knees, notice that my back heel comes off the floor a little bit. It's almost like we're getting ready to sprint and spring forward, okay? We want that springy feeling in our footwork, okay? So I'm going to step forward, a natural step, and then I'm going to bend my knees, and we will feel that heel come off the floor, okay? If I were to face you, I want my feet under my shoulders, maybe a little outside that. We don't want to be on a tightrope, okay? We want to be sort of distanced here, but I'm going to step and I'm going to bend my knees. The back heel comes up, and you can see there's some width between my feet. I want to have good balance here, okay? So as far as the lower body goes, that's where we want to be, okay? Our hands, what should we do with our hands? Well, my hands are going to be in front of me and at a distance, okay? I want to create a little bit of distance between my face, my head, and whatever's in front of me. So my hands are in front. And then lastly, I'm going to bend forward just slightly from the waist, from the hips, okay? So let's talk about those two things. The reason for that slight forward lean is if I am impacted straight on, I want to have a little bit of shock absorption so I can stay relevant. In other words, I can still come back and strike from there. You can imagine if I was back on my heels and I got pushed, it would take me a second to reclaim my balance and then get back into the fight. So we want to have that little bit of shock absorption, so if we do get hit, we're ready to keep going. So that's the idea on that slight forward lean, okay? Really importantly, let's talk about the hands, okay? We want the hands at a distance away from us, okay? And here's why, okay? Maybe you watch boxing, maybe you watch MMA, and some of those guys will shrink their, what we call our guard. They'll shrink their guard and tight, like Mike Tyson was this. He would just, keep his hands under his eyes. He would stay very tight with his guard. And some guys prefer that, stay really close, keep their hands in. And that is fine if it's a situation where, somebody's got gloves on and there's a ref. Because it definitely punches coming in, you could block them or whatever. But I want you to imagine this. Would you rather block a screwdriver out here or here? I don't want to be trying to deflect something sharp that close to my face. I want distance. I want to do all that stuff out here. So that's why it's important. For self-defense purposes, not sport, but for real life self-defense, we want to have a fence, a distance away so that we can, kind of see things coming and deflect and deal with that potentially sharp stuff out here and not let it get too close to what's really important, which is my good looks, right? So that's the idea. So that the hands are in front. So again, this is our stance. This is our typical fighting position. I step forward. Everything is square. Everything is facing forward. My toes, my knees, my hips, everything is straight ahead. My shoulders. Then I slide forward lean with the hands up, okay? That's the static stance. When I say static, I mean unmoving. The thing is, though, self-defense is not static at all. Self-defense is very, very active, especially when you think about sometimes when it comes to self-defense, it's not one-on-one. It's one on multiple. It's 3 people, 4 people. You cannot afford to stand still. Even if it was one-on-one and they're bigger than you, and they're always bigger than you, somebody who's a lot smaller is not going to attack you. It's going to be somebody who has the confidence of size and strength on their side. We don't want to stand in front of the freight train. We want to be mobile. So this stance allows us mobility. So I'm here, I'm kind of low, so I'm springy and able to move. And then once we have this, once we feel comfortable in this shape, now we can start moving. Now we can start being evasive, not standing in one place, and then, of course, being able to deploy whatever offensive strikes we're throwing, punches, hooks, straights, knees, elbows, whatever. But it all originates from that stance, okay? But first, let's have you get comfortable with that stance, okay? And by the way, I should have said this earlier. If you're a lefty, just reverse everything I said. So you would put your right leg in front and just do everything the same and just switch it up. But that's that. Next lesson, we're going to talk about how to move around in the stance. But before we get into that, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's just feel comfortable getting into this position here and then being able to move next time. Okay. Again, my name is Charlie. I'm down here at 360 Defense in Norwich, just off 395. I can see 395 out the window right now. And if you want to check us out, come on down. We do have classes right now. But again, I just wanted to put this out here so that if you're at home, maybe you're quarantined or whatever, give you something to do at home and kind of give you a bit of a primer so that when you are ready to come down and join classes, you'll feel that much more comfortable about it. Okay. All right, everybody. We will see you in the next lesson.